Hey YouTube, this is your homeboy Seth, martial art fitness and everything. And I just got done doing a workout at the gym. I didn't film it or nothing tonight. Um, Pretty much just trying to stay positive, stay motivated. Even though I didn't really feel like going down tonight, I still went down and did my training for an hour. And in boxing, and when it's wintertime, I do inside training. When it's summertime, I do more outside training than anything, because when it's summertime, I do calisthenics outside. I might punch on my punching bag that I have out there, and that's the thing. And I have been cutting back on this soda. This is my first one I had all day. Um, Actually, my second one I like my second one I had all day. Um, but other than that, I've been drinking plenty of water, staying dehydrated. Been drinking my pre-workout for my workouts and everything, and I've been working on my chest a lot, and my trying to work on my abs too more. In my training, mixing my training up besides doing the same thing over and over and over. I work on other things besides boxing. I do like Japanese ways of fighting, and maybe a little bit of Chinese way of fighting too. But Even though the Japanese way came from China anyway, so they're both Chinese fighting anyway. So uh, the Japanese arts came from China anyway. So really, technically, all styles of fighting came from China. The way I see it, and a lot of people say boxing came from Greek in the Romans' time. I I highly doubt it that it did, but it may have been. But I'm not really too for sure on it. But the reason why I love boxing so much is that the reason why I'm getting back into boxing on my own is because, like, let's say if you get confronted on the street, you're wearing a pair of jeans or something that you can't really kick in or anything because they're too tight and they're not loose enough where you can kick. Well, only thing that you have available are your hands. And your head movement and footwork. So that's the only thing I love about boxing, because it don't really take up a whole lot of space to train in boxing. You don't really need a gym to train in boxing. You really don't. If you don't have any equipment, just use your body weight. Do calisthenics like push-ups, squats, lunges, dips, pull-ups, to jumping jacks, to mountain climbers, to do whatever you can with your own body weight. With your own body weight and everything. And I just want to say this is that boxing is like a great sport to start out. If, like, let's say if you're a beginner in martial arts, and fighting and stuff, and you wanna start somewhere, but you just don't know where to start at. that was my first martial art that I ever learned was boxing, and boxing was the first style I have ever learned when I was a kid, and I just never gave up on it. It's like the same thing with my karate, that I do, and my karate, I work on it from time to time, but I don't work on it constantly like how I do my boxing because boxing, it's science. Even karate is science. But the thing with this with karate, you have all these patterns, like all these katas and stuff you gotta do and everything. And I'm really not much on kata training. I mean, I do them in a once in a while. I mean, katas aren't really practical for self defense. So I do what is more practical for self defense. Um, Even though karate is good for self defense, don't get me wrong, because you can punch and kick, use both worlds and everything and all that. But the way karate is taught today is more about the point system, like in tournaments and everything else. It's not about like you know big kill or kill. It's not about like the samurai code how it was back then. Things changed over the years in today's world of karate, karate or any combat sport. Back then in ancient Japan, feudal Japan, they used it to survive. It's just like how our U.S. troops, going to war overseas or something like that, they use boxing to survive. So it's like that's what our first martial art was boxing. Then it went into karate. Then it went into judo. Then it went into taekwondo. Then it went to Muay Thai. Then all of a sudden, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu came out of nowhere, became popular as well. And so, out of all those fighting styles, no matter what style you practice, any style is effective for the street or for sport. But the way I train for the street. I don't train for sport the sport way. I train for self defense. I don't train for tournaments. I don't train to be better than anybody else out there. I train because no matter what type of day I'm having or if I'm really not feeling up to it, I still get a workout in because when I train, it clears my mind of things. And that's the reason why I love training. That's the reason why I love to work out. That's the reason why I love lifting weights. I love doing calisthenics. I love practicing martial arts. I'm trying to figure out how to get a boxing license, but I don't really know how to go about on getting it. I've been trying to look up online on how I can get my boxing license or something like that. Maybe one day if I decide to, I'm wanting to turn pro and everything when it comes to boxing because I love boxing more than I do karate. But if I had to use karate in a street fight, for like kicking and stuff, if I was wearing loose pants, yes, I would use karate for self defense. If somebody would try to attack me, but it's the same thing with boxing. Boxing can be used for self defense. Look at the old time England and Britain. They used boxing for self-defense. Back in Britain, back in Europe, back in the old days of Britain. That's where boxing originally came from, but then it came to the U.S. somehow, and then it got taught to military, then it got taught to practitioner people all over the world. Then boxing became really famous over the years. I mean, I still watch boxing matches on TV to this day, even though I know sometimes some of the fights they may be rigged, because I can always tell, in each fight, just by the demeanor of the fighter in the ring, just by watching the fight on TV, I can always tell who's going to win before the match is over. And all my friends, when we would sit around when I was little, all my friends, we would always sit around and watch boxing matches on TV. And they're like, dude, how do you know who's going to win every time? I said, I just know. I mean, I've always had that instinct in boxing because I watched it all the time. And I can always tell who's going to win and who's not going to win. And it's just by their demeanor in the ring, how they approach themselves in the ring. That's the only reason why, on being a fighter, I mean, you got to have the mentality, to, make yourself fierce in that ring. You gotta have that warrior mentality. Otherwise, if you don't have that warrior mentality, once you go into that ring, you're gonna get your ass kicked all over the place. But you gotta have that warrior mentality and the heart of a warrior too. Not just go in there halfway, without no heart at all, and then say, okay, maybe say 5 rounds in the match. Well, you decide to give up through that 5 rounds in the match. Well, basically, when you do that, you're giving up all the years of training in that ring. No matter how strong that opponent is, you can overcome that opponent in the ring. It's just that you gotta show your demeanor, you gotta show your warrior spirit. You can't let your opponent in the ring know why you are scared. Because if your opponent sees that you are scared in the ring, if your opponent sees that you are scared in the ring, that opponent of yours, he's already won the match. Because he's already got inside your head knowing, okay, I'm going to win this match. I'm going to win it all the way. Because he already knows, or she already knows, that, hey, I'm already inside your head, I already figured you out. And I'm going to win this title match, or something like that. Because they have that way of figuring things out. Because the other fighter likes to get inside the other person's head where they can't think straight. Because that's how in the ring of boxing works. And a lot of times, a lot of boxing matches nowadays, they're either scripted, or 2, they either have somebody paid out to lose the match because they're more better of the other fighter because the coach is trying to protect their trainer, their trainee, the one that they're training in boxing, or it's just all set up. And it's kind of like with that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. And recently I found out, like 2 days later after the, I'm still kind of aggravated at the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, because Mike Tyson would have clobbered Jake Paul no matter what if the fight wasn't rigged. But come to find out, everybody was talking about it, saying, oh, it was rigged 100%. And then after the fight was done, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul both got arrested for having a scripted fight, not going by the guidelines in the boxing community rule. And the boxing community rule of the world of boxing. And to me that's kind of a shame. You know, the only reason why Jake Paul got Mike Tyson to fight was because Jake Paul paid Mike Tyson in advance. Plus, after the match, after he lost, he still ended up paying him some more money. Because he was going by the script on how Jake Paul wrote it. Because basically Jake Paul was a YouTuber, YouTube influencer and everything. And he says he's a fighter. I really don't believe he is a fighter. I mean, that's just my opinion. I really don't believe he is a fighter. And I think he's a natty. I think he's fake. I mean, you know, that's just my opinion. But I don't know the dude personally. I'm not here to judge people. You know, they all have their lives or anything like that. But I'm saying that he can't fight. I said that's just my opinion because I did watch the match. And that was a sad match because there was one moment where Mike Tyson did that Dempsey row move. He was going in for a right hand, his power shot, signature power shot, but then he held back. And that's when I knew that that fight was rigged. So I'm like, you know what? Boxing today and somewhat in the ring, it's not really boxing anymore. Because most of the time, it's like I said, most of the time, most fights are rigged on TV. And I always know who's going to win. Or I always know who's going to lose the match. I mean, that means even in all the old matches of boxing that you see on the internet, and I never seen them before, and it's like, okay, I know who's gonna win, you know. And my guy would always, or my woman would always, whoever I picked on watching, my person would always win. And so I was like, okay. Even though boxing is a sweet sport of science, and that's one thing I love about boxing is because it's a sweet sport of science. It is science. It's about science. It's about developing your body, just like any other martial art out there. Every martial art out there is based off science on how to build your body up and use it as a human weapon. And the thing of it is, you gotta be creative in ways to use it as a human weapon. That's right, as a human weapon. Because when you're training in combat sport, you gotta do it throughout the years. You gotta keep at it. You know, it's okay to maybe take a break in once in a while from doing it so much and everything. Probably like take like maybe like a month off, and then get back into it after a month or something. I mean, when I tore my ankle, when not tore it up, but when I sprained it really bad, I couldn't really do a whole lot of training. The only thing I could do was weightlifting at the time, and I couldn't do a lot of lower body position training or anything in martial arts at all. And so, and that's what the doctor said. He said only thing I would work on is weightlifting. And that's all I did for about a full month just doing weightlifting and then walking on a treadmill for like 30 minutes just to get my strength back up in my foot. And that's all I did because he said no strenuous hard exercises on your foot for about a month. So that's what I did for recovery when I sprained my ankle a long time ago. And that's when I was wearing that boot in one of my videos. It's because I tore, he said I tore, it wasn't really Achilles in the foot. It's more of like a really hard strenuous muscle. And it was more of on the heel. It's more of on the heel and everything. And it was more of like the fasciitis. And it went straight up into my calf muscle. And I had to wear it to work one day at a long time ago at one of my old jobs and everything. And everybody at work was asking me, what happened to you? I said, I strained a muscle somehow on my left leg while I was doing my training down in the gym, and that's how I did it. And then it took about a month to heal, but it's stronger, fast. It's more better now. It's more stronger. I've been doing a lot of like calf raises and everything for it, doing a lot of therapy for it and everything to get it stronger. And I know a lot of people say walking is a lame exercise, but you know, if you really want to, you know, do recovery for a strained ankle, sometimes rest, and maybe, you know, after a few weeks of it recovering from doing nothing on it, then kind of like start doing walking for exercises for it to make it stronger. But yeah, I mean, that's how I see it. Working out, it's like my number one go-to therapy when it comes to injuries, even in any sport that I do. Either it may be boxing, karate, taekwondo, kickboxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I mean, I've done all of those arts. I mean, I haven't gone to the gym in a long time, but I have trained in all of those arts to be in the best shape that I am today. And but I like boxing more because you don't really need a whole lot of space to train in it. You know, if you want to get into the best shape, you know, you don't need a whole lot of equipment. You don't need weights or anything. You just need your body. You need a small space, you know, to where you can shadow box, like in your living room or something. If you got space in your living room, or you can go to your nearest park, do it outside in the park somewhere. I've done that a few times and stuff in the summer. You know, I might sometimes go to the nearest park near me, and I might go down there and train. And once in a while, I don't do park training all the time, but I do train mostly at home outside or down in the basement. And when it's cold out, I train in the basement. But like I said, in summertime when it's warmed up more, I'm more outside. I'm more of an outside person than I am an inside person when it comes to training. So plus I'm trying to be creative in my training too now and everything. And so it's like I'm trying to think of different ways on how to train more effectively and stuff on my own. But training really has saved my life. You know, many of times it's made me survive 2 car wrecks. It made me survive my stepfather trying to kill me one time a long time ago. So it's made it where I've survived three dangerous aspects of my life, and because my last car wreck that I had, the police officer said, "I don't even know how you're still alive, man." And he said, the way my car landed at the time, he said I should have been dead. And but what I did, what saved me, was the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu part, where you had, when you're getting wrecked, you're not supposed to hold on to the wheel. So I let go of the wheel because if I knew if I hold on to it, my arms would break. And so I just let go of the wheel, and I just kind of just hunkered down, stayed relaxed, and I just stayed relaxed and everything. A moment of impact, and I had my seatbelt on, and so it was like, so can martial arts save you in any type of dangerous situation? Yes, it can. No matter if it's threatening or not, it can still save your life. That's what I'm trying to get at. I train in the more modern way of martial art fighting. I train in the samurai warrior codes way. I don't train in the Chinese way. I don't train into the Japanese. Man, I don't train in the Korean. I do train in the Korean way, but I'm more of the Japanese warrior wisdom way of training because I'm more of samurai beliefs than anything. Yes, I am a Christian. I do believe in God. I am a Christian, but I go by the samurai code as well. And so there you have it. Seth Martial Art Fitness. Please hit the like, hit subscribe. Train hard, train smart. Like I said, I only did an hour tonight. Usually, sometimes I do 2 hours. Just depends on how I feel. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really feel like going down tonight and train, but I still did. I still got it in. And it's like last night, I didn't feel like going down either. On my days I don't feel like going down, it puts me in a better mood. So, plus it gets me out of the house and everything else. And another thing is, train hard, train smart. Please hit the like, hit subscribe, and hit the bell on all. And you'll get every one of my videos. And like I said, train hard, train smart. Do your research, and God bless, and stay safe. Peace.